We were initially approached by the sellers of this portfolio in May of 2023, and it became evident fairly quickly that the sellers' priorities fell in line with things that we felt like we could accomplish. Number one, obviously, they wanted to maximize the value of the portfolio. They had spent 10 years putting these farms together, and so getting a good return for their limited partners needed to be a high priority. But secondly, and maybe most importantly, was that they wanted to give the local farmers and their tenants an opportunity to buy these farms. They have very close ties to the community, and so it was important that the auction process allowed everybody in the marketplace spectrum to participate. So the goal of this case study is to talk about how those two things were accomplished and go into some other variables that fell into place as we conducted a $46 million auction campaign in the span of 4 months from the time of first contact to the day of the auction.
Boy, as soon as I sign up on auction, I envision auction day. Hey, auction day is game day or show day. And it needs to be a well-organized machine. It needs to be choreographed. You need to know exactly, what you're gonna do, when you're gonna do it.
One of the first things we do once we begin on a project is to decide where we're gonna host the event for this project. The venues in the area were very limited that could fit our needs. And those needs that we have for an auction like this are capacity, not only for the people, but for our information, the food, the welcoming area, as well as the boards and screens we have in the front of the room.
Well, hey, we're trying to create a competitive atmosphere by turning this gymnasium into essentially an event center by setting up, boards at the front of the room, 2 large screens, and also providing a multitude of different foods from breakfast through lunch.
A comfortable atmosphere for our event is very important because it goes back to the fact that we believe that a comfortable bidder is a confident bidder.
And so we want to make as fluid of a marketplace as possible. We want to give buyers as many competitive options to get in and compete for the properties as we can. And so in this situation, we had 50 different properties that were not contiguous, so we naturally had 50 tracts. But even beyond that, we wanted to take some of the larger acreage tracts and break them down in smaller acreage to give the smaller acreage buyers a chance to compete. And we also wanted to isolate the recreational areas because we knew that the farmers and investors would not allocate a lot of money in those areas.
When it came to auction day, it's important in our process that folks understand that they can combine tracts any way that they want to. And in terms of a 75 tract auction, that means there's a huge number of potential combinations that are out there. Schrader's team was 25 people that played a number of different roles, including greeters, bid assistants, those posting bids on the boards, the auctioneer, food servers, data entry personnel, and legal counsel to help with contracts.
We have different personalities within our staff. There's different personalities with buyers. We try to match up people that are going to work well together. And also, again, the time that we've spent with them when it comes to auction day, and we've built that rapport and trust with a prospective bidder, and we sit down with them and they're putting a large combination of tracts together, and maybe they've got a specific amount of money they want to spend. So I think if we did not spend that amount of time with people out in the community doing what we do in building that trust, that we would just, and the first time a prospective buyer were to see us was auction day, hey, you wouldn't be able to achieve those kinds of feats.
Oh, that's one thing that we really did when we're out there canvassing the area. We sit down and explain to them. I always tell them, hey, listen, this is the only sale you're ever going to go to where you can tell the auctioneer how you want to bid. You have total and complete freedom. You can put it together any way you want, any combination you want. And what I'm doing for you that day, I'm empowering you to do everything you possibly can. I have no restrictions on you, and you're going to love it.
I think it was really clear come auction day when people came in and were known by name. Then during the auction, when they wanted to bid or had questions, they could really feel comfortable talking to our bid assistants because it was the same people that had worked their area, had spent time with them, had met them at their house. And that really turns into more bids come auction day.
Hey, coming into a project like this where you have so many acres in one area, you have to find a way to be able to set different pieces apart from each other. And so when we first initially looked at the package, we knew that the tillable acres would draw people's attention from many miles.
The data for this project was presented in multiple forms to the interested parties. We wanted to cater to their needs and how they like to view the data. So we had printed books that were over 300 pages long with some pertinent information in there, as well as in the cloud online that was accessible to them, broken into the groups of tracks or individual tracks for them to access.
We had to divide the property into several different auction days, but even within that, into several different marketing groups of our people.
I think when you use the team approach, it allows the members of that team to concentrate and to focus on the property, to get to know the property intimately, and also to get to know and spend quality time with those prospective buyers in the community. Meeting with the landowners and the local farmers and getting to know them and building trust with those prospective buyers in the marketplace and through the community, and getting to know what their interest is, and really even on a personal level, maybe even getting to know their family through the process, which I believe pays dividends come auction day.
We had the opportunity to sit down with over 100 different families at their kitchen tables or in their houses, or take them out to breakfast, lunch, or dinner and spend time with them, and building those relationships to get to know them, and then that leads into a better relationship come auction day.
First of all, you need to tell the story. Everyone wants to know why they're selling. And so you need to clarify that. The next part you need to tell is the story is how you have a great opportunity, a rare opportunity.
Well, I've been in this business for 30 years, and I can honestly say that we have never put too many tillable land acres on the market at one time. The more acreage that we put on the market, the wider the buyer base becomes.
Hey, the thing that I do know is when you have a large quantity, it's just like throwing a rock in a pond. You got little ripples and it just keeps getting bigger, bigger, bigger. Hey, the more property you have, the larger network that you can go out and pull from.
And ultimately, we ended up with 19 different buyers on the 103 tracks. And a lot of those 19 buyers were individual tract buyers that showed the benefit of being able to bid on individual tracks. And there are also some large combination buyers, which showed the benefit of giving buyers an opportunity to combine the tracks.
I look at it as we're not only auctioneers, we're great ambassadors. Our object, our approach is to be great ambassadors. It's not only how you come into a property, but it's how you exit the property, how people remember you.
Ultimately, we had 2,000 man-hours in the project spent in the local communities leading up to the auction. And as we looked at, we offered 103 different tracks. And at the end of the auctions, we had 19 different individuals and entities who got portions of the portfolio purchased. That spanned anywhere from the guy who bought 14 acres of recreational land all the way up to the groups that bought thousands of acres. And so we think you can look at the outcome and look what was put into the project and feel like it was a job well done.